God bless you. God bless you. We're here for another edition of the Purpose Show. We thank God for you logging on today for our Purpose Show. We thank God for another edition. Y'all, we getting here. We're moving through the month, and we thank God for having our own Deacon Emerson here who deal with, I call him our historian of Black history. We thank God for Deacon Emerson. I'm your host, PT, Pastor Terry Allen, and we in Black History Month. We're gonna be talking about Black history. We're gonna be talking about different topics. They're gonna be like it'll be a little to some people with we don't want critical race theory. I'm talking about Black history. You need to know your history because you gotta know where you come from so we can know where we're going. Because a lot of times we don't teach this in school. Like I said, everybody else got 2 or 3 months. We only got one, and we got to take advantage of the month we got.
And the smallest month.
Yeah, yeah. Well, why we get the smallest month? We only get 30 days.
It isn't white people's fault on that. They chose this month because it had Frederick Douglass' birthday.
See, I didn't know that. See, people. See, y'all. Some of
Not
y'all.
white people that chose.
See, some folk. I heard that before. Because he's like, why was a small amount? Now, but see, the Bible says we die by the lack of knowledge. A lot of things we gotta learn, especially FBAs. Y'all, foundation. We need to read. The more you read, the more you know there is truths and lies and falsehoods and on both ends, and it give you a balance of truth. We got to have of the scale of truth. It got to be a just weight. The Bible says equal balance. Don't always shift to one side or the other. Find the middle, and you can make wise decisions.
There was a professor, um, um, Leonard Jeffries, who said, I quote, if your entertainment system is more expensive than your library, then you are a fool.
Wow, that's wisdom right there. If your entertainment system is more expensive than your library, I know libraries are digital, but what do you listen to? What is your volume of what you're intaking?
Nowadays, everything is electronic. I myself like books. It's something you can touch and something physical that you can um, go to and show people. But people want to be entertained than educated. And that's a problem because other people are being educated and taken away what's rightfully yours. And what's rightfully yours is your history, your culture.
And I think when we miss the culture, here's the deal. I think we got, especially when I deal with FBAs and I say Foundation Black people, our culture is part entertainment, is part of that, but I think there people politically they'll use entertainment to replace our influence and our knowledge. And I always tell people, even this last, I thank God, I'm proud about us people are delineating from we don't use the voice of entertainers anymore to move our culture. I see we're pulling back a little bit on that, and I'm happy for that. Where people want to know the facts. What are we doing now instead of having some kind of entertainer or someone to influence? Don't belong in politics. I like to see. I like you when you sing and dance, but I don't need your political views. Cause
What's amazing, they marginalize our history or what we contribute in the United States. You know, they were talking about Beyonce getting into country music, and that's odd because black people, if you say country music, we 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 originated that. What instrument in country music is known for country music? And that instrument is the banjo. Where did the banjo come from? Africa. Why black people no longer touch the banjo? Because of white people. It's a long story. We will not be talking about that today.
Now, here's a question that I ask you on that aspect. Do you, and we don't hear, and like I said before, this show is not about black against white. We're talking about history. We're talking about why sometimes we don't know why things happen. Anyway, oh, black people good and black white people. And that's not every. It's good and bad in every culture and every race and every creed. God made us all. What we're talking about, we don't. A lot of people don't know why is why, and I learned a lot. Even in my 50 years, I didn't get in high school. Some of the things we talk in our Black History moments. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that, and it gives you a sense of you when you've been thinking wrong for so long is very jarring. And I know they put recently they put out the files of uh, Martin Luther King, JFK, and all this, and you may hear some crazy mess on people, but I just hope they put out the files on a lot of other folk that Weinstein and all these other people that we see, because even though there's truth, it has to be the balance of truth too. Because a lot of one group will influence another group to act a certain way. And I think we need to know our history about what's real and what's that. So, Deacon, what we're going to touch on today in our
We're
uh,
going to look at two dark times in our history, and it involves the church.
hmm,
And two churches with, because of hate, um, became a focal point in at that time, and the ramifications of um, what happened. We say we're a Christian nation, you know, and could this happen in the United States? Yes, it did happen in the United States. And we should feel ashamed enough not to have it happen again. All people. Like for instance, in 19 it was September 15th, 1963, there was a bombing at the 16th Street Baptist Church
hmm.
in Birmingham, Alabama. It was known as Birmingham, Alabama, because of black um, buildings being bombed, people that were part of the civil rights movement, their houses being bombed. So um, the church was a meeting place for the civil rights movement, and someone hid a bomb in the girls' bathroom in the basement. And there was um, five little girls that went to the bathroom between um, Bible study, and they were just being girls going to the bathroom. What crime? And a bomb went off, killing immediately four of the young ladies.
And
You can
so
see the name.
these are displays of these young ladies who've been bombed, and because of most of the civil rights movement started in the churches and where they were the meeting headquarters. Am I correct?
Yeah, they it was like war on the church.
Because of those civil for far as the civil rights act.
Yes, it was the meeting place. Um, the girls ranged from 14 to 11, and there was a fifth girl, Sarah Jean Collins, the sister of Addie Mae Collins, who survived but lost an eye. She um, was burned. Um, Half of her body was burned, but she survived.
Wow.
But that day, um, the people, it was a shock. Um, Kids wanted to do something, so they tried to maybe organize a protest, go out and protest, which they protest on a lot of things. The police officers tried to break it up. How they broke it up was shoot into the crowd,
Oh wow.
killing Johnny Robinson, a 16-year-old kid. But that wasn't the last death that day. Um, a kid was riding on the handlebars of his brother, and so the white people thought, "Hey, it's killing black people's
A day.
day."
Well, we just say, I'm gonna never tell.
16-year-old kid, I forgot the young man's name, shot Virgil Green. He was 13 years old, but just because um, he was black. But this time, the police did arrest him, and what which which is
Rare.
odd. It's rare.
Rare in that era. What year was this?
This is 1963, and they gave him a sentence. He was trying sentence. He was given 2 months probation for the murder of
Well, see,
Virgil Green, and that was amazing.
justice for all.
That was amazing because
You would have got that.
killing black people back then was not punishable.
I think now I know. Well, let's move forward, and I believe we got the Black Lives Matters. Um, I'm gonna ask you a question that most people or ask me: do you feel like this new era is exploiting that era, or it's not giving it? It's just I mean, I know it's a million. That movement make a lot of money, but it ain't go to the justice part. It went to people pockets. It went to. I seem like what we do, and this is my opinion. A lot of foundational things we do for just dealing with civil rights is going, and I think civil rights got murky with LBGQ rights, with other cultures or immigrant rights, and it seemed like we are just
We
throwing in
we
a bag.
we bang and kick in the door, and other
Yeah,
groups
yeah, right.
rush in.
But it seemed like, but they are benefit off, and we still get pushed in the
Yeah,
back of the line.
we bleed blood, sweat, and tears, and other groups benefit from our suffering and then look down on us.
They still call us. I mean, they
But
still,
you're saying Black Lives
yeah.
Matter, that started, the purpose of them is to um, publicize um, the killing of black people. It wasn't a think tank
It
or
wasn't a money make.
building. No,
It wasn't. I think it turned the campaign. I think it's like when you get to George Floyd. Now I grew up in that. I grew up where, and I say this. I take it as personal. We knew in the neighborhood because, and let me say this: there's both ends. If you want to go do your history, read about uh, Biden as well did a crime bill. So did Clinton. It's not all Republicans. It's all both. These crime bills mass incarcerated a lot of African American males. If you get caught with a nickel bag, you only got 5 years. And so people don't understand. If I think it's the 15 or 16 amendment, meaning that if you're a prisoner, then you can be a slave. You're
Oh
not
yes.
exempt. You're not exempt from slavery. And so that's why mass incarceration, people don't understand that, where they'll mass incarcerate you for a crime. And basically, the prisons became plantations because that amendment, the amendment don't cover prisoners.
Yes, that was really started during Reconstruction, right after the Civil War. They needed um, their slaves back, and the only way to get their slaves back is to arrest them for a crime. Just stupid things. You can get 2 years
Jaywalking.
jaywalking, spitting in the street, um, not walking off the sidewalk when white people approach, speaking loudly, cussing in public. Just minor things can get you arrested 2 to 3 years or accused of. A police officer can arrest you for
Well,
being near train tracks because they think that you're leaving the area. And during,
don't you have a right to leave the area?
no,
Oh, cause of zoning. If you go into another,
no, because they need you in the area to work and you are escaping that.
but aren't you free?
No, not technically. You would have to show them that you are working for someone. You're sharecropping for
So
someone.
basically,
And if you
you're
don't
trespassing.
have a job, that's a crime if you are black.
Okay. All right.
So,
Y'all.
well, back to where,
I'm, I'm glad people say, well, we gonna touch. We might vary off, but we giving you information. What I'm saying is, and I like the flow. We're giving you information. I believe a lot of us don't know what's going on. And so, y'all, let's start reading. Being his, it's now is no excuse because you got a phone in your hand. You can Google a lot of things, but go to a library, go to a place where you can actually go a place or just find information. Information is at your fingertips on your phone. There's no reason for us to be
ignorant,
illiterate or ignorant. And ignorant don't mean dumb. Ignorant mean not knowing. And we die again. I repeat, we die by the lack of knowledge.
black,
We
black.
don't have it, and so we don't have the knowledge. We make decisions based on the
What
knowledge we have.
what people say we are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And people, we're not dancers. We're not athletes. We're not entertainers. People, we are inventors. We are innovators. We hold a culture. We are the soul of American culture. And let me make it clear. And let me tell you, talk about voting. And voting, if this is the two-way, we control the parties, both parties. If FBAs come out in mass numbers, and if we can't be, and I keep saying, let's delineate from one culture. I suggest we be more independent, so both parties can do what we need for the community. But if we don't come out, one party wins,
Well,
and one party we
one
go,
party is making it hard for for us
yeah,
black and brown to vote,
yeah, redlining,
redlining and taking people off the voters roll.
right,
That happened a lot this go round.
yes, and let me say
There
this.
was someone that could have won, but there was a mass of people that was taking off the roll just before.
Well, and both, and here's here, and I heard about that, and I heard about the other scandal. So let me say this: it's two. You got so many conflicting viewpoints, and I know as we of color, we'll be more on a Democratic viewpoint. That's what people say. Well, and I understand that because the voting will say, but if you read both, it's some canery. It's going on. I ain't talking about conspiracy theory because we don't know factual, but you know where these people went at. How this happen? Overnight, people votes and mail-in vote. They claim one at last time votes came in. Now they claim votes went out. Yeah,
The other before time is running out.
yeah.
Before there was another church
Oh, we go back.
lately. The Mother Emanual Baptist Church in Charleston, South Carolina. There was it happened in
Because this
2015.
is what we talking about.
Yes,
Okay.
Bible study. Um, in this Christian nation, we these people just Bible study, and there was a young white man that joined the Bible study. I
I
believe
remember hearing that. What year was that?
2015,
I remember. I remember the story.
and then he didn't. He was a believer. Would you believe it? And only thing that differed from him and them, he didn't like black people, but he loved Jesus.
Well, that's not loving Jesus, because Jesus say you if you do it to the least one of me. If you that see that's the Ten Commandments. Thou should not kill. You're not with God. You're not that Jesus said. If you're guilty of one law, when people call themselves Christians, and as I'm talking as a pastor, when you do that, you're not a lover of Christ because you just broke one of the Ten Commandments. You committed murder. You didn't love thy neighbor. That's not another one. You already got two.
Now, if this brave young man would have um, attacked the churches and schools and stuff like that, they're known as soft targets. You don't expect to be shot back.
Right. There's no
A grocery store
story.
is called a
Soft.
soft target.
Now, liquor store, you might get it.
But
Courthouse, you ain't gonna do that.
but this brave young man, chose a soft target. He didn't chose the Crips headquarters or the Bloods or
Or just go around the wrong neighborhood against a bunch of brothers standing in the hood and
oh no, it's not going to happen. They'll
get
choose
some place so
soft.
they won't get shot back.
They they're going to show their bravery. But
We being sarcastic, everybody.
yes, right.
So people are like, "Oh, what you talking for real?" Because these days people do not get it.
But before that night, the the white people were so upset that this happened that they burned two other churches in Charleston. By that week, the end of the week, six churches was burned.
Wait a minute. So they got upset because the person got prosecuted.
No,
What was the reason for the burning of the
I'm
church?
thinking.
I don't get that.
I'm thinking they just pile on.
Okay. Well,
They're just a pile on spirit. The shooting was enough. We black people were terrorized. You don't need to burn two more churches or
I guess they was making a point of protest. I don't. Maybe it's a protest. I and on the flip side, because people gonna say it's one sided. To be fair, I don't agree when we burn out our own neighborhoods and cities either. But if now I'm gonna give you the cultural mindset. We don't own nothing.
yeah. And
And you don't
and
own it. You be more prone to burn it down.
if you thought that would scare people,
Yes, fear.
if you thought shooting people in church would scare people from going to churches, you would be amazed how crowded black churches were the following Sunday.
It galvanized.
In fact, at this church, there was standing room, and it was filled with blacks and whites.
And so when people, let me say this, a lot of times when we create, when we try, just like with Jesus, when they crucified Christ, it's called a martyr sister mentality, meaning that you are you are increasing, you're gaining influence that people who die. More people gain more influence when they die than they are alive. We look at the Lord. He said, if a seed fall in the ground, it can produce more seeds. That's what Jesus said. And so the the strength of, oh, this person willing to die for a cause will encourage and galvanize and strengthen people to, like, this person is fearless. I know, I don't know whether, some people, conspiracy theorists, say that this last election, the orange man it was true or not. But even though him being shot at galvanized some people, and whether you agree or disagree, because I always tell people we're not a monolith. I always tell, as people of color, let people, even though you don't agree, let people have their opinion. That's what America's for. Whether we're not. I don't want people to get into fights and lose relationship because someone didn't vote for Kamala Harris, or once black people voted for Trump. That's, you don't hate or think that person. People vote for their own personal reasons, and they should have the right to. We're not a monolith. We shouldn't be
Yes,
that. We should not be
especially black
people.
people. We will choose our own, um, what favors us that we know about, even though it's been a week since he's been president, and the civil rights bills have been taken away just by a ink pen. All those marches and
Well,
it's just gone.
and we gonna get. But I realized one thing about, before we close, even in that, and let me give people clarity to help us about that. Even with the inclusion and diversity movement, can y'all give us some research? More white women benefited off of that than FBAs, because this is how it works.
Yes.
Because how it works, a woman is a minority as well. They count, and guess what? Even though most businessmen will put their businesses in their wife's name, so they can get grants and get the
Minority
minority
grant.
grants, and they still married to their husbands, and they get clauses in the contract. Well, what about their divorce? The business still go back to the husband because they got clauses in contracts what they do. And y'all don't know that benefited more white women than it did people of color. So yes, it did affect us, but not as much as you think, because a lot of those grants, we only got 10% or a small percentage of the benefit that we die for. So I just want you to know, don't wild out, don't crash out over it. I'm gonna let you do your research and find out what you're really crashing out for. I'm telling people from both parts, we don't really get anything. We didn't get a lot. If we don't build our own wealth, our own businesses, and our own, like other cultures do, we are gonna be in big trouble, because they cutting out, y'all. They cutting out everything, whether you like it or not. And the way that the other party is acting, they setting up somebody, the vice president, to be in there for another, when he finished, for 8 years. And I'm being saying, the only one, we're in Maryland, but they trying to get Barack Obama 2.0 with our governor. So I'm telling you where we going. I'm
Well,
telling you where we go.
well, it's going to be
I met
hard
him.
for minorities to vote.
Yeah.
Um, they're going to get rid of all the um, immigrants, even those they're trying to get those that were born here.
Oh, well, you already signed the.
So
I now let me make it clear. I don't. I think when I read upon it, it's going to be those from 2000. Now, this is what's going to be clear to you to help. I researched this. Those who been that uh, birthright citizenship will retroact 2025. So anybody who, if you've been born before 2025, now that ain't factual. This is what I hear, and that's not. Don't quote me. Don't at me. I don't know for sure. This is what I heard. So that's allegedly that prior than if they get now that's in the Constitution. So I don't know that can be actually done. You can anybody can do executive order, and for the next 4 years somebody can sign something else. But if it become law, anything 25 and over, you can be born here and you go on too.
my question to the consumer, because of this, they will be suppose he's successful in doing what he said he's going to do and get rid of the immigrants that's picking the fruit, that's uh, custodians of your building and stuff. Then you would, to replace them, you would have to pay um, white people $50 an hour to
They don't do those jobs,
pick. Oh yeah, they will do the job if you pay them
but they will not.
$50 an hour,
But they will not. But see,
$50 an hour,
but
or $70 an hour to pick.
no, that's not going to
Yes,
happen.
they will.
Well, I mean, they will if you pay them, but they who's going
But
to pay them?
wait a minute, I ain't finished. But the cost of potatoes would be
Astronomical.
um, $100 a bag of potatoes.
Well, we that's an experiment
Y'all think eggs are
high now.
spend $100 on a bag of potatoes, or you get some bananas for
Let me and
$200.
let me say this.
You'll be begging those immigrants back.
Well, let me say this. We and people get on the argument of that, and that on the flip side, a lot of FBAs too, and I hear from other people. And that's my when I say I speak for other people who have a different perspective because you got to have a they getting free stuff that we didn't get. We can get reparations. We can get our 2 acres and a mule. And I see a lot of other people are being jaded by what they are getting. And what about and there's people who willing to work and will if you give me an extra $5, I'll pick your crops, but we don't give that everybody don't give the opportunities. There's people out here will want a job. That's not just immigrants that come over here. And one thing I do know, they other countries will empty out their jails and get the worst. One thing when Nebuchadnezzar did, and if you go to read the Bible, Nebuchadnezzar, when a person take over a country, guess what? They take the best. They take the engineers. They take the doctors. They take those those who build buildings. They will take them to their country and work, and they will leave the poorest and the poverty to fend for themselves. And then
We did that with Germany in World War II.
exactly. And so what's going on now? The other countries are saying, I'm gonna send my worst and keep my best. And so, with a lot of people' perspective, I'm trying to get rid of the worst. But that's don't they may say that at first, but just like Tom Holman said, if you say, okay, this person is a part of gang, they're a criminal, but wait a minute, where's your papers? You've been here for 10 years, you've been working, you've been doing good, you ain't do no crime. Well, wait a minute, you undocumented, we get you too. So that's going on now. Now, here's let me fairly. whatever you believe it or not, most of America voted for it. And there may be more majority because we're a minority. We of a group may not have voted for it, but if we're in America and you got every group, if this is what they voted for, don't cry when you get, because people, God was going salt. Let's go back to the Bible. God wanted to be Israel king, but they didn't want God. So God told Samuel they want a
They
king.
wanted a
King. And he said they're going to rob you. This king, you're going to be working. You're going to be picking you're going to be taking your women, your best crops. He going to do what he going to do to you. This is what this king going to do. But do y'all still want him? They say yes. You voted for this. We voted for this in this country. Some of us, I know, so everybody didn't vote, but the majority rules, and this is what we voted for. We got to go.
Yes.
We'll see. We got this is a great episode. We got more coming. We'll see you next time, y'all. We go do some announcements, y'all. We got some stuff going on. We'll be back, y'all, for another edition. Come on back. We got some more discussion of our Purpose Show, 7 p.m. every upload every Tuesday. We got question of the word in a week on Thursday. Every Thursday Bible study. We also have our Sunday worship live services. Come in and get church. We church and community. Amen. We thank God for you. If you need a church home, we be at 5621 Old Frederick Road, Catonsville, and Mario, Studio 8. I think for the month of March and February, we'll be in Studio, I believe, 7. So we will be there, but we'll be there the next room over. Amen. And if you want to donate, please give to the church so we can keep these programs, everything going on, everything moving. We thank God for you. We got to go. We getting these discussions is good. We thank God for our own Deacon William Emerson Jr. I'm your host, PT. We're going to continue the conversation in Black History Rough next week. So come on back. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. God bless.